Hello everyone, welcome to our dev stream, the first dev stream of the year.
Yep. So it is going to be a great, exciting 2022. This is our first developer stream.
We are joined by a highly experienced commander, Mr. Tran.
Yep.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yep. He's our long-time community member. He also has participated in a couple of tournaments with us. So Trent will be our special guest. We will be seeing some of his reactions, so he can ask us questions as well. We're going to be doing some content reveal today, right, Rico?
Yes, so like if you can see the screen, you can see 3 units there. They are all vehicle.
Lots of exciting season 3 content. So this will not, if we have an update before season 3, it won't be in because this is a season 3 exclusive content. It will have a lot of balance changes, and as we've talked about previously, season 3 is going to have a lot of a commander content. I guess we're focusing on the 2 new divisions that's going to be on each faction. I mean, 1 division each faction, so that's like 2. So these are some of the units that will be part of the new division. So Trent, you have seen the last developer stream, right? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
So we got to see a Missile Guardian, which is going to be giving us AoE, which would be a nice alternative to the current Guardian. And yes, the drone carrier, which I have many questions about.
You can prize some answer today then.
So, I mean, my first question with the drone carrier, now, is that going to be treated like an artillery that produces units? So you're going to be actively using abilities, or is it going to be passively producing replacement marines, should we say?
Yeah. So it's going to be the latter. So it is not an artillery, more sustainable firefight unit. Like you keep this unit in this battle zone, and it just gives you lots of sustainable firepower over there. I mean, it's not going to like break the front line through and through, but it's going to harass the enemy. It's going to give you lots of supporting firepower for free, so you can sort of focus elsewhere, or you can just double down, attacking that area. So I think the roles of some of these units will solidify as we approach season 3, but some of it has sort of, the main principle has been decided of what we want to do with the units. So unless something major changed, then this would probably stay correct.
Interesting. So it's basically a pressure tool for keeping a presence on a front, so you can use it to cover a VP. The enemy focused on defending.
Correct. If you've ever played StarCraft 2, it's going to be a lot like a swarm host in Zerg. It's pretty much inspired from it. It does a lot of pressure on the front line.
Also forces the enemy to come and hunt it down to stop it getting all that value.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So shall we start off with, I guess, a function that all commander has been asking for? I would say
part of the suggestion tool has been there for a really long time, so check this out.
That people all want, like, control commands, like, can you guess what is gonna happen? You can have remap keys.
Ooh, very nice.
And individually as well to each specific unit that you want.
Yep, so this will be part of the season 3's UI improvement. This has given us a lot of sweat trying to get this correct. So you can now remap them based unit by unit and all the content in game. So we were like thinking about how should we remap this? We can't map this like how we do in FPS, because FPS just gives you like a whole giant list of commands, right? But the problem is that you have different units that have most of the same names, and you also have a lot of branching commands. So you have like arranging the units would be a lot of headache as well. Like you can't just list them one by one. So basically we like to click on the units, and the commands of each units will then be able to customize throughout this. So as we add new units to the commands, we will be able to
slot them in here all nicely, easy to use. Make it one by one.
So the thing is that you have to use with care, because sometimes you might overlap, right? Like if you was to make so if let's say scouts, click back and go to the scout. So let's
go.
Right, like if you have like something like capture, right? Capture is V, and maybe not capture. Like for example, move. So if you have move and then you have mule, having deploy mule using M as well, then you will have both buttons overlapping M. So we've tried to think of a solution for this for a really long time.
Both commands. So
Sorry?
could you actually have it so that your scout moves to the location and the mule locks it down in one?
No, it's not going to work for both. So we have decided that this is going to be a problem that cannot be solved, because this is one of the reasons that held us back from actually doing reassignable RTS commands, because the issue is that if you have a reassignable RTS command, then there's a chance that some of the commands could overlap, right? So
Oh, and there's the risk then of
Yeah,
enabling units to do things they shouldn't be able to because
no, it's not about
or
that.
bugging
It's about you having two buttons with the same shortcut key and only one of it will work.
right.
Yeah.
So one will get priority and the other will just be ignored, basically.
Yeah, basically. So that's where one of the reasons are. So yeah, this is a very, very hotly requested.
Yes, it's still a very good feature, and it looks like you've got pretty much every option in there. So
It should have
Yep.
everything in there. So
Does that include-
Mighty Blue is asking actually, is there going to be a grid layout option for keybind potentially?
So grid layout
Actually-
is even more tricky here, because grid layout is going to be very misleading, because depending on the units that you select, the buttons could actually move around. So this means sometimes your move will be T key, sometimes your move will be Y key, sometimes your move will be U key, and you wouldn't really enjoy having those. But actually making grid commands is actually far easier than reassigning keys. It's just that we didn't want to do it because it's a bit I would say misleading. Yeah, so we kind of want to avoid that.
Okay, cool. Also, one more is like, also from Mighty Blue, like if we EMP the drone carrier, right, would the drone itself also be affected?
I guess no, because they're a separate entity. Unless for balance reasons we want to like make it so that
Possibly.
they do.
Yeah, we have to see how effective or what kind of impact they do on the actual battle in situation and adjust accordingly, I would say.
But there is actually an option already. You could make it so they're tethered, so they are afflicted by the same debuffs.
Most likely.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, you would have to like really justify it balance wise to make more sense.
Okay, come. So since we already shown drone carrier before, let's just show it. Go further on that side. Anything you want to add for the drone carrier? You want to show specifically?
Nope, I think.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
the
I
drone
was
carrier will be
gonna
the first unit, so we
Can
can
I
see.
see the control of it?
Oh, this is, you just press E and you deploy it, and then afterwards you can just highlight.
Yeah,
once
you can
they come
just use the
Smooth them around.
drone.
So as you see, we have no icon yet.
Standing by.
So if you maybe
Yeah.
have a suggestion for that, let us know what you think would be a good one for a drone carrier. So so we'll be using cheats, so there's something that you all will never be able to use, only for developer testing.
Alert. Enemy unit
So
sighted.
basically run as like a unit or infantry. And just detect in their fire and then you can just move them
Enemy
in as
unit
well.
destroyed, Commander.
So it is literally the ace drones.
Yep, the ace drones. I think a little bit more. It's a little bit more powerful. I believe it's more powerful and
Looking at the firepower there, no.
bigger than ace drone as well. So it has a lot more hit points, but it's also easier to hit from enemy officers.
Yes, Commander, loud and clear. We good
But
to
they
Can
also
you
do
waypoint-
this. Sorry.
I was
Can you
going to ask,
waypoint?
can you
Standing by.
waypoint the drones so that every
Yes,
time you hit
Commander.
E for that, they go to the designated attack location? Or must
Yeah,
they
that's,
wait
that's a
for-
good feature suggestion. I think
Yeah,
one of the
that
things we
works.
eventually want to do is to let it have a focus area.
I guess a rally point for it.
Alert.
Should they
Enemy
just
unit
add a
destroyed.
rally point, right? Basically. For the system to run.
So yeah, their damage output is not good. Yeah, they're more just bodies rather than firepower. So although they look like LMGs in the original trailer, they're not. They're more durable than they are firepower.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you think about it, you're gonna have to send a bunch of scouts to their death to kill it.
Yeah, but it's scouts. You know, scouts die.
That's
Iron Guards, on the other hand, will not. I don't think would have too many issues because they're a much larger model, aren't they?
yeah, but the issue is that the Iron Guards is gonna spend a long time trying to kill these things, right? So
Yeah. So it's absorbing fire.
yeah, not only is absorbing fire, you're getting free hits as well on the Iron Guards.
So, just for a question for Orange, like, does the drone has infinite range? Yes,
No.
but it have a wait. But because
There's
of
gonna
the
be-
duration,
death time,
right?
correct. You
Yeah, the death time. It
There's a
limits the
practical-
range.
there's a practical range to it, lah.
How far they can travel before they despawn, basically. Their lifetime is the limitation.
We don't want them to be able to travel the entire map, lah. That's for sure.
Can you assign them to officers?
No, you can't.
No,
Waiting
there's no assign
to
button.
a new location.
Right, so there needs to be a timer for that spawn since it doesn't show us anything. So basically a timer before they die, is it Orange? I would assume that would actually
I
be
think
good,
his
so
point
you
is
know.
like how far, like is there anything limiting how far they can go, or is it? Because I think he's looking at it from the perspective how far back can he hide the drone carrier and deploy the drone.
Yeah, there should be a
effective
practical
as
range.
well.
I mean, we want to at least make them be able to travel at least half the map, but not an entire map, because you also don't want it to travel to the max range and then it just dies on the spot.
Yeah, correct.
I suppose my question here would be, so once you deploy those drones, is there anything locking the vehicle in place? So could you technically drive it forwards, deploy, and then reverse move all the way back to your base?
You can. Okay.
So there's nothing, right, so you can actually use it to like launch the
Yeah,
drones and then pull
You're
them.
gonna need a lot of micro lah
Foundation there.
to do that.
Yeah, so basically
Well,
I just
you know,
drove
with
up.
people like Orange, like that's
Full speed
never a
ahead.
problem.
And
There's always going to
we're
be
on the
someone
move.
who can do it. You know this.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's look at the next piece of content.
Oh, next one. So
Yeah.
as you see here, we have a support crawler, but this one is I would say quite special.
Who needs supplies?
So as you see, we have one more button there. Actually, two more.
Buckle up.
I'll
Yeah.
press the
So
first one first.
before we show this, we're going to talk a bit about support crawler. So support crawler is going to be a bit more different this time because so we are implementing a change that's going to go across all division. So support crawler is going to be something that's not division specific, meaning that every division for Exora will actually have it. But we are revising the role of support crawler, means that for each of the division they will have a separate role. So not all support crawler will have shields. So this is one support crawler, which I guess when you see the function, you will know which division is it. So yep. So they will not have shield. But check this out. So this
I see. And mines.
yeah.
Yes, and
Oh.
mines.
So support crawler is
So-
generally a support unit that actually will.
Oh, but they always drop them behind it.
Yes.
Yeah, you will
Use
always
the
have the
move,
weapons. Yep. The common denominator will be the weapons and the supplies, but you won't have the shield thing.
Is there a cap on how many mines this thing can place, or is it the commander cap?
Yeah, it uses the commander cap.
Ooh,
There's
that's.
enough for everyone.
Yeah.
Does
So
that
we
have
are
weapons?
we are going to relook at whether the airdrop
Ready to
mine
go.
is actually something that's still relevant or
Heading
not,
out
or
to
we
the
might
highway.
remove that entirely from the game so that you will need to have this vehicle to actually drop the mine.
Just moving
You'd need to
in.
give stealth a
Need
new
supplies on
off
the
map
ride.
because the mine drop is essentially used for their off map artillery.
Yeah, we're gonna decide if we're gonna remove the Phantom Assault or the map, because otherwise then you will have a
Look
double
at
of
shield
each.
generator on.
Right.
Yeah.
But you see, you can't put it where you actually have no visual.
You've
on.
got to have line of sight, right?
Yeah, you're gonna
Yes.
have line of sight. Correct.
So you can't
Can you
shoot
move the
to get
phantoms
it.
out of line of sight though? So if you place them there,
No. So let's say if I put it
Fix
here,
destination.
I want to see.
they will just stay there. It's
Oh,
not
they're
selectable.
locked in place. Phantoms
Yeah,
will
I mean,
work with the
if-
phantom
if
arms,
you-
right?
Yeah.
If you want to move the car, I don't really cancel if you move the car.
There's
Yeah, you
enough
can
for
set it up.
everyone.
You also, so you see, right, they are detected, but your infantry actually can't see anything because they have no visual feedback back to you. You can't see what's
They're
there
not
as
actual
well.
units. They're just
Yeah.
images.
So if I just move it now, they get cancelled.
Yep, it gets cancelled. So basically, it's tied to the.
Like a bonnet. Ready to go.
Entirely locked to the support crawler.
There's enough for everyone.
Yes. Because when you move, actually the deploy get cancelled, so it's get locked to the deploy segment.
I suppose my only question on this is, does it measure the line of sight from the, should we say the widget?
That's a
on-
projector.
like
No, that's a
Yeah,
projector.
from the projector, or does it measure it from the vehicle body? Because
No, it's from the projector, I believe.
Right, so you can put it behind something and then project over.
Yeah, that's the whole
Supplying
idea.
your demand.
So this is not like 100% complete. We will be adding like some VFX, sound, and all these things to complement how it works, so you can actually see it. So we do
Especially
want
on
to
the
eventually let Phantom Assault be something that's counterable rather than just click and forget, fire and forget sort of thing. But again, Stealth Division do need that extra boost. It needs that really great one hit, you know, like a one hit use, really powerful thing. But we are kind of considering whether do we want to
Heading
make it
out to the
something that's
highway.
cancelable, meaning that you can actually counter it. Early on, we did
Engines
thought
warmed
of
up.
putting like something like a
Safe.
mine.
Moving out.
You drop it there, and then the mine is
Shield
actually the one that's
generator on.
projecting it. If you blow up the mine, then yeah, you lose the Phantom.
So that there is something to hunt down and destroy.
Yeah,
and just put it with them.
Rather than like, oh, you drop it there, it's like
Enjoy
you
the
can't do
ride.
anything about it.
Just
anymore.
got to live with getting shot at by phantoms.
Yeah, or you just relocate lah. So the whole idea of Phantom is that, the power of it is that you force enemy unit to say, hey, you know what, you can't fight here, you gotta fight elsewhere.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is it. So
So before we move to a next unit, maybe we should show something that's not in engine. It's still in very work in progress, I would say. Let me just turn it on for you guys to take a look at. Which one should I show first actually? Let's show this one first. For specialists.
yeah, this is a new gadget by the specialist. It's a new ability. We don't have the unit special. Trent, you want to guess what's this?
A specialist placing this. Again, it looks like a mine, but it looks to be slightly bigger, so I would expect this is some kind of projector unit, so maybe to drop phantom armies where they are?
No, it's too many already. Another guess.
It looks large because it's zoomed in. That's the hint.
Yeah, it's actually
Ah,
not
so
that
it's actually quite small.
Yes. Looks like a
Again, I'm
fancy
still going with
battery.
it being some kind of emitter, so a stealth emitter or something along those lines. They've got more of a support function.
Yeah, it's a support function, but it's not a sub emitter. So I'll spoil it for you. So this is a portable APS. So the specialist will now have the specialist strike team. So we are going to revamp the strike team across all boards so that each division strike team has something more unique. So Exeron has like one particular unit that morphs its functionality based on which division you are, but it's fundamentally still a long-range deployable super unit, but we want to make it far more super than what it is now. So you could actually go TCU and really impact the game with TCU first. So it has to be powerful enough to impact the game. But we're thinking of how we can actually make it powerful. So right now, I fundamentally believe that you can go RCU and then TCU, or MCU and then TCU, but not TCU first because it's always been a support unit. So we're considering to see whether we could make the strike team far more capable by itself. But it's in competition with a lot of very powerful things, right? Like Sigma and Knights, which is, in its own league. So we're going to have to see how it works. But this will be one of the things that we want to do, like let specialists deploy something powerful.
Mhm.
I suppose my only
So-
concern would be is that means there's a lot of APS. Because it means you've got APS on the Hyperion, the strike teams, the drones.
But Hyperion is very on demand because you can't rely on the Hyperion's APS because number one, the player could die.
You can't rely on it. But it's more the fact you're able to layer APS much more easily suddenly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bear in mind, APS is actually a tier 3 research by itself.
I've
Right?
realized
The one on the repair drone.
the issue I've always had with APS is it's a binary of either it completely deletes the incoming damage or it doesn't do anything. And if it is working, it is giving so much survivability.
Yeah.
So it's more a case of what would be the counters to this.
Blow it up.
Well, I do agree. Blow it up is a good go-to. But I mean, it does give the strike teams a lot more value, and I suppose they're still relatively limited how many you can deploy or how easily you can deploy them. So it's not going to be spammable.
You definitely can't put 2. You can only put 1 per specialist strike team before it expires. So this is one of it, but it's only one aspect of the specialist revamp that we are going to be looking at. So
I'm interested in the other ones now.
Yeah. So the other ones, unfortunately, we don't have any more specialist related.
Not ready. Let's see.
Yeah, but Rico has something else to show.
How about something extremely work in progress? This is the most work in progress one that we are showing today.
Yeah.
Oh no, Spider-Man.
You immediately know it. So, This is a mine that's going to be able to chase you. We call it a walking mine for now, but we will not. We have a RWIP name yet. It's not decided yet, but it's something that will be happening in season 3. So we're kind of pivoting into showing more of a WIP work. Then as we improve on it, we're going to give you more details. So for now, I'll tell you that it's something that could chase down infantry, and if you don't shoot it in time, it's going to blow up in your face. So you can't like troll mines around, like touch to go away, wait for it to explode. Touch.
How could you do this, Jeremy? How could you do this? Why have you gone and given Axeron ace drones? Because this is what ace drones, they chase you down and they make you miserable.
Yeah,
this is the same thing.
It's called balancing.
Wait, now we have the battle of the drones.
Yeah. Oh god.
Okay, so since we have 2 more to show, okay, let's go with, since we just shown 2 Axeron, we have 1 more for Axeron. Let's show maybe 1 for GSF first to kind of tilt the balance back a bit.
So let's do the
ta-da! It's a minigun.
This will be part of the weapon of a new squad that will be coming in, which unfortunately couldn't make it in time for us to show you. But we'll tell you the name first, but we'll be showing you on later. So this is going to be part of the Heavy Rangers squad that will be in GSF's new division. So this is more of a extreme firepower weapon squad, weapon crew. It doesn't have a frontal shield. It doesn't.
Oh, and the shield, I presume, comes up because it looks like. Or
no,
it
doesn't have a shield.
No, there's no shield.
It doesn't have a shield. It's not defensive at all. You could shoot it from the front. But this
sorry, I was looking at the plates at the lower end. So
no,
it protects their ankles.
Yeah, essentially, it doesn't have a shield, but this thing could take down light vehicles. It could.
So it's essentially like a AP.
Yeah, essentially, it's like a autocannon. So this thing fire a lot more.
Also,
powerful.
that's a big autocannon.
Yeah, it's autocannon. So this thing is gonna mow down like any amount of iron guts is gonna come in. So it's more like a rapid fire iron gut eating machine. It's gonna break vehicles. It's gonna break lots of stuff, even potentially structures as well, to a certain amount. But you could kill this guy from the front. But it's going to be a high tier unit. So it's a weapon crew unit. It's a weapon crew.
Is it going to be a set facing, or is this going to have more of a turn radius turret system?
It has a set facing. So this is an offensive phalanx, right? Which with less defensive capability. So yeah.
Okay, Slav actually asked, can we have this for officers? I would love that.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Gonna go mow down iron guts with this.
Yeah, just deploy at the corner. Just
Halo style.
I would love to as well, but probably not for now. Maybe in season 4, if there's high demand. We shall see.
So we'll leave the last one to later. We have 1 more to show here, which should be quite brief.
Yes, Commander.
Especially,
Moving out.
whoops! Ooh, something went wrong. It went boom. Give me a moment to restart.
The balancing is still.
Oh no.
The
So I mean, looking at this, so
minigun
essentially
is
it's be a tier 3 weapon
Secured before
team,
nightfall.
which is more about the offensive firepower, which I presume means it would eat up Omicrons and crawlers.
Yes.
Probably more crawlers, but less Omicrons. But I know. People say crawlers are not relevant, but you will damage Omicron a little bit lesser than it killing
Thanks for the reminder.
crawlers. So yep, close the thing. Yep. So this is this is going to be.
Yes, I'm familiar with the APC.
Yeah.
No, this is a
What do you
bit
think of
different.
the APC? Yeah, this is a rework, kind of different. There are people saying show us the goods, you know. You
Armored
click it,
transport here.
you can
Let's
deploy
enjoy
it.
the scenery.
So
Ta-da.
APC is going to be reworked.
Supplies. Oh, and guns.
Guns.
Oh, CPCs. Oh my. Okay.
Yeah. So the APCs are. So the APCs are going to have a little bit more well-defined role. One thing we might consider, but not officially in yet, which is to keep all the division APC, but then do something a little bit different for the infantry. Because right now we have this thing where, I mean, some of you guys brought this up before last time. Like robotics actually is the only division in the entire game that can actually grant commander free weapons. And
Basically,
essentially
resupply your
what
officers for free, and this fixes that, which
Yeah.
I fully approve of. This is a yes.
So it seems like something that's either super powerful or something that you could actually ignore. So we don't want this to be a single feature that is relevant only to one division. You know what I mean? So
It'll have like an aspect to it for each division, especially for infantry.
Yeah,
or native
yeah.
too. Yeah.
So I felt that support crawler is something that all divisions should have, and also some way for commanders to actually give weapons. So the CPC thing we're still considering whether it could be part of an upgrade to say that you upgrade APC to actually maybe there's an upgrade to refill the weapon faster and also to add APCs. No, sorry, CPCs or something like this. I think we could potentially put an upgrade for it, but I try not to have a commander improving upgrades. Sorry, officer improvement upgrade, because it puts the commander in a very weird position. Like you might have one of
Are
those
they going to actually spend on their officers?
Yeah, and then you have this situation where, hey, I've spent already. Why are you not collecting the stuff? You know, you're wasting the money.
I suppose my question here is, what about the respawn times on the weapons? So
Yeah, it's
how
something
often
that's
do
going to
they-
be similar to the support crawler. We generally want you to be more careful having it. It will be respawnable, but we want to be more careful as in we don't want it to be cordless, right? You can just switch weapon around, use it. But I recognize one of the greatest strength of doing this is that you put it in the base and then you pick it up and you straight away get the tier 3 upgrade for your weapon straight away right from the spawn, which makes it very, very powerful. You know, like having AP rounds right
Well,
at
it gets
spawn.
your team back in the field. So
Yeah.
in case of if you're being pushed back, as long as you've invested in this, like your team's able to rearm, and they're not like, oh, do I get weapons or do I get my battle suit?
Yeah, you can actually get one weapon and then get a battle suit and then still have either AT or LMG. Yeah. So this is one of the purposes.
I approve. I approve.
We actually
Nice.
also
Ready for
have
duty, Commander.
the smoke launcher that I have to research real quick. Hold on, give me a moment. Weapons vehicle. No. Look at all my
Didn't
cheats.
cheat beforehand and
Commander,
unlock
new
everything.
technology asset.
Disgusting.
No.
Ready
I
for duty,
cheated
Commander.
live for you guys to see my cheat.
Setting up a smoke screen.
I'm a good cheater.
A similar launcher to the IFV ones. I think we might change the IFV smoke launcher so that the equipment gives IFV something else rather than a smoke launcher. It's a bit underused, so
I think
I
it's also a case
have this-
you're adding a micro element to that when the ability needs to be more of an emergency use, because you're trying to get fire off of the vehicle. So I do
Yeah.
feel like it should just activate and then cover like the front 180 degrees with smoke.
yeah, that is correct. So actually, if you haven't noticed it, right, demolishers will actually have a good chance of missing the IFV when it has a smoke up because of the inaccuracy.
The obscure, yeah. So essentially, it's like an obscure protection.
Armored
I've seen it does a
transport here.
lot to mitigate
Yes, Commander.
damage from AT
Moving
weapons
out.
because they kind of fire off to the sides.
Yeah, but that's mostly only applicable from demolishers are specific. Omicron's quite prone to it as well.
It's a
It
wonderful
also does a lot
day. We'll
to
get there as
mitigate
fast as we
the
can.
sigmas. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
they tend to miss a lot with that.
Smoke the termite wall. Kiwi157 says change smoke to termite wall. Yeah.
That's going to
Ready
be
for
like,
duty, Commander. Fuel to
I
get
wonder how
there.
it will work. It's gonna burn everything.
But the problem with usable fire ability is that you might burn your own unit. This is why we don't want to give fire to
Well,
any
I
of
mean,
the.
really,
any of
if
the
it was a thermite wall, you'd charge it into iron guards and then deploy it, and then you don't have to worry whether or not you can run them over. It's saying.
That's true, but you would just use.
burn and run away.
I want to eventually give AP rounds by default to IAV. We are considering that, and then this is as per your suggestion. I think it's a
Yes,
pretty
thank
good idea.
Thank you. I do
And
appreciate
then
it. Thank you for
give the. I mean, it's something that we're still considering, and then give the reserve round something else, maybe like a one-hit explosion or something. But we're trying not to put EMP for IAV because it seems a bit out of place, a little bit out of place.
Yeah.
We'll see.
EMP. Yeah, it does feel weird.
We do have
The thing
one
is,
more
it
stuff.
did make- It
Yes,
did
we
make
almost-
the IFV unique, having the EMP, because the only other place that exists is on the MLRS. Meanwhile, if you did something like give it an explosion or a fire effect, I mean, you're seeing that on the M33, the Hellspawn, so it ends up being too samey. So I do
Yeah.
feel like IFE I suppose if the increased damage from the AP rounds is enough that it is actually seriously threatening, it would be more looking at survivability for the IFE than more damage options. But again, it's... See, I'm struggling to... Because there's so many little pieces here I don't know about now, and now there's tier 3 weapon crews. So, like, the entire late game firepower is different.
This is a division. The Heavy Ranger squad would be a division specific.
But that's the point. I don't know how they fit into all the divisions yet. So it's like putting it all together in my mind is a bit... Possibilities.
So, community, feel free to guess if you guys know what will be the division that's coming out. We'll see who get it correct when we eventually reveal the division.
Add a guess from me. I would expect it to be called mechanized, because you've got infantry, you've got armored, you've got fortification. So to me, the next one is mechanized, which would imply, Guardian troopers, mechs.
Right. Okay. That's a good guess.
That's my guess.
Yeah. All right. We'll keep them coming. We'll see. And Axeron as well.
Maybe we'll have one in the future again. Everything's possible. But let's go on with our last thing to show.
Yeah, this is gonna be cool.
Yeah, so I'll show.
It's my personal favorite.
Bishop, please. Bishop.
Oh.
That's not Bishop.
Oh. That's horrifying.
It's a pop-up mine. That's turret, sorry, it's not a mine.
Turret.
Oh, and that was the underside of the balcony showing the...
Yes. So, if you drop it on a balcony and there's a place below, this thing actually shows up and you can actually damage it through this.
Yep, you can actually blow it up through underneath it. So...
more balanced Axeron point defense. That's what you're telling me.
Yes, that is correct. So now you can have point defense on places. So this will be a commander drop ability. It will be dropped from the sky. So you need it to be air accessible. And it will be essentially sort of a stealth unit. Means that it has a vision that is... the AI needs to be quite near to actually see it. So it pops up and it fire away. Ratata. Yeah.
So Slav asks, can it shoot up?
No, it cannot. So it is only for very, very point blank defense. So you can throw one in the... You can do the PD Paki, what GSM used to do.
Corners, people. Get in those corners. Yep. Replace your iron guard with pop-up turrets.
Check those corners.
Yep, you can do a checklist consistency. But you have to bear in mind, you can easily smoke it off. Because unlike iron guards, you cannot move it around.
Yeah.
You can easily
and it's still destroyable, so it's fine.
Yeah, it is still destroyable, and also you have to be careful if its undercarriage is exposed, then
is it hackable?
Yes, it is. It will be hackable. As per all mechanical units, this will be considered a structure. It'll be a really small one.
Get your exploits out, boys.
Mighty Blue Justice, can officers stand on top of it?
Probably. He's always trying to stand on top of stuff. Probably.
But does it only pop up when enemies are nearby, or can you manually lift it?
Auto detects, I guess.
Yeah.
See,
it runs automatically.
Perfect parkour tool, and only the GSF can use it. This is disgusting.
I mean, you guys can use it too for
Ace. It's perfect platform for aces. Eagle strike straight on top of it, bam. Way to go, guys.
Oh yeah, you can't shoot up, so it's the perfect way to dodge as well.
We shall see what the God of Sky do with this.
Oh, yeah. I expect Long will have good screenshots in due time.
Now my is asking, can Rook stand on top of it? Put a turret on your turret.
That would be horrifying.
That's horrifying to think of.
Oh, I really know what Long is up to with this.
Oh my god, now I'm scared.
Oh,
those turrets.
It's actually dangerous.
Yeah. Right. Most of our stuff is ready. Orange showcase for
Is it division specific? Yes, this is division specific, Orange.
Must be the new AXR division.
Yeah, so some of the items are getting reshuffled. The items are getting reshuffled. For example, the one that's guaranteed to get reshuffled is the current support. So robotics having shield seems a bit an odd thing. So it will be changed. So some of the units are getting reshuffled. So not everything that you see will be in a new division, such as the projector, the support color projector. I mean, we all know that it's going to be part of the stealth as well. So most of these units will be in the new division, but not all.
A question I did want to ask, considering we're looking at Season 3, and in Season 2 we saw changes with lockdown changing, heavy weapons changing, can we expect any similar changes to that, sort of wider sweeping sort of core changes in Season 2?
Yes. Yes. Not as much as the lockdown changes things, but it's going to change a bit of the lockdown stuff as well. I think one of the major one that we are actually changing, it might sound very trivial, but it's actually a seriously major thing, is that we're changing the resource incomes and the actual resource into a decimal point. I mean, it seriously sound very trivial, but meaning having decimal points to resource means that we can do a lot more things with it. Like one of the things we've always wanted to do, juggling with it, is so we are not doing upkeep. So I keep saying not because we're doing something like upkeep. We want to make it so that we won't have a situation where one team has 50,000 resources, the other one is struggling with 0 resources. So I think we've discussed some of this in the community, like how the credit is being accumulated on both sides needs a bit of tweak. One of the things we're examining to see we could do is to see if we can give credit points and resources a bit of a diminishing return. So if you have 4 credit point and the other team has 1 credit point, you won't get 4 times the resources. You may get 2.5 times the resources instead, so that you get diminishing return. So you have a situation where if you dominate early on, it doesn't necessarily mean that the benefit is super big. Obviously, you will have more resources than the enemy, but not by 4x, you know? So
the difference won't be as pronounced, and you're able to be more granular in how much people get.
And this is only possible when we have all the resource points be, you know, all the resource to have decimal points. And this is actually quite a big change internally. I mean, it may not sound big, but actually changing from float to integer for the resources in the entire game, it's actually quite a big thing as well. So this has already been done. So it's a lot of opportunity to look at things.
Also, I agree with not going upkeep direction, because otherwise you're punishing people for having units. But
we don't want that, right? We want the whole battlefield to always be busy. So we are like, Eximius may not necessarily benefit from having an upkeep thing.
Yeah, it would be good to see diminishing returns, so that while map presence is beneficial, it's not as...
The shield for support crawler better not be moved robotics. I thought we just said just now, the shield for robotics is most likely to be removed from robotics. We're most likely going to be moving to energy, but we're trying to see whether that makes sense. But I think it makes more sense as for energy, because, well, it's it's energy. But it's not 100% yet. But shield for robotics, it's something that we are looking to see. You know, it's something that for us, our take is that it's quite odd to have robotics be a bit more defensive. We will probably have something actually. Well, there's already a lot of synergy with the Iron Guard, so we want to see whether you could synergize with the Iron Guard in a different way.
Robotics
as long as it's not repair, because robotics doesn't need more repair, please.
So I was suggesting that.
No, yeah, it does have a lot of repairs really, because you have Aegis, you have Surface Iron Guard. It seems a bit overkill to repair. You might as well have invulnerable Iron Guards as long as you're beside the support crawler, right?
Like, the only direction I could see it going, like... I mean, what could it, like...
We have some ideas with it, I think.
Yeah, I'll leave it with you. It's just like...
we have some ideas that we might not discuss here, but robotics is getting changed. I wouldn't say bullied. I believe there's a lot of sentiment that goes around that robotics is way too powerful, overpowerful, overused. If support crawler is great, the cause is great, cause drop is great, you know, the
pulling away from robotics, because we're all agreed robotics is good. Is there any chance the other divisions are going to see a similar option to the Iron Guard core drop?
I'm not too excited with having Iron Guard cores being for every faction. The reason is
not for everyone. I'm saying their own equivalent, a credit-costed call-in to help supplement their build queues, to kind of help them.
Yeah, that's another thing that we are looking at doing is build queue improvements to see how we can actually improve the build queues. But
Oh.
just bear in mind, the build queue bottleneck for Exodon has always been an intended thing. Although the caveat is that for infantry, we may do something different with it, especially on the specialist side. But having a bottleneck queue for tank structures and vehicles is an intended limitation for Exodon because they have a lot of synergy unit. So, I mean, this is part of the lore as well. GSF has better logistics. They have better deployment capabilities.
And all the manpower in the world. You know,
yes, and all the
they've got bodies for days.
Correct. So we kind of want to balance it while still keeping true to the whole DNA of the faction, you know. Bunga Bunga may only make credit cards limit. Yeah! But only if you have unlimited credits, I would say.
So yeah, again, I fully approve because we're seeing the support crawler functionality of resupplying officers every division, which again I love. I want to see. The idea of a free CPC seems really good, but personally, I would like to see the CPC in there. Although I get the feeling it means no one would ever buy a CPC ever again.
Yeah, I think the CPC will not be in by default. It's either an upgrade to this thing. I mean, it could potentially, like I said just now, an upgrade that actually speeds up the refill of the support crawler and then at the APC, and then also gives you the thing. Infantry ones get it. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
It seems a bit too OP to have the CPC there because it's really
is there any chance of anything to do with Iron Guard or similarly heavy infantry related news? Maybe
for GSF.
For GSF or Axel, I would be happy to hear about the heavy infantry situation. Look, we all love heavy infantry around here, right? You should know full well, like Orange Pest can attest, heavy infantry are in very high demand, except Guardian Troopers. And yeah, we would like news related to these things because
not for this season, most probably. I do eventually want to see some kind of heavy infantry for GSF in tier 2, but but we might kind of tune or reposition some of the power spectrum of Iron Guard and Iron Guard cores, maybe make them a little bit more powerful but a little bit more expensive, and Iron Guard cores can keep in space so that you don't just spam Iron Guards without thinking much of it. To make infantry a bit more of a legitimate build rather than always gravitate towards Iron Guard. But we'll see whether that makes sense. Yeah. Or to give like regular Marines. Well, elite Marines are actually good enough to kill Iron Guards now, but of course they get mowed down pretty fast, and you lose a lot
bad
of damage
situation and you lose a lot of bodies.
Yeah. So it feels that a lot of GSF infantry is like a throwaway solution, right? So we're trying to see if you could make it. So we're trying to avoid players to just keep spamming brainlessly. You know what I mean? Like we don't want to just lower the cost to the point where players just spam units brainlessly.
Well, they're just I will admit I definitely do. However, for me, it's looking
solution, right? It's the easiest way is to make like Marines like close to free or something like this. But I feel that takes away a lot from the strategy, and there will not be a lot of room for maneuverability if you.
Well, it also screws with the economy because suddenly they're not part of the economy calculation. They're just always there, and so it kind of screws with things there. But for me, it's like looking at the fact we have this new heavy weapon crew, which is coming in tier 3, more vulnerable but more firepower. So
this will not be the solution to the Iron Guard spam, but I believe the Iron Guard spam has other solutions that are better to it. I can't tell was it. I mean, personally, I like to see some form of slug shotguns for regular units, as a counter to overplay of Iron Guards, because slug shotguns are not that great versus infantry, but they are crazily good versus like Iron Guards and something like it.
So you mean take the basic field supports and give them a slug shotgun upgrade?
I don't know, in certain situations. I don't know if I'm already speaking too much about it, but let's see how I think I should.
I mean, I like the idea because I would like to see more slug shotguns, but that's just me.
Yeah. Essentially, we're talking about giving light infantry a Iron Guard specific counter. Like ATR is not actually Iron Guard specific counter. ATR is like good versus everything.
It's a catch-all, yeah.
It's good versus like every single thing in the game, and it's more dangerous. It's extremely dangerous to kind of buff it up, like make it super cheap or make it available then it's literally one of the weapons that could destroy everything.
Yeah.
So you really don't want that. So we want to make it more of a Iron Gut specific.
Whereas Slug Shotgun would end up sitting in a much better position where it's hard, but it's not
It's
reliable.
performing Ragnarok already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we have come to an end of the show. We are maybe going a bit longer.
The problem with inviting me, Jeremy, is I talk too much.
No, that's fine. We do want special guests that talks too much.
Text walls, good times.
You have question and you want answer. That's it. That's good. Alright. So I guess are you joining us for PvP Fest later, Trent?
Oh yes, I will be joining you for that. And thank you very much for having me. I do appreciate being considered.
Yep.
Yes.
We always happy to have you. You are very experienced. You are very assertive things, and you have a lot of experience doing this kind of testings. Really trying out the units and having a lot of very good insights, on the balance and all this. So always good to hear you.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So I will leave the event back to Rico. Are we finishing it? We have something else?
That's all that we have for today. Thank you everyone for joining in for our first developer stream of the year. We will definitely run 1 or 2 more before the content before season 3 drop to show you more.
Yeah, so a little bit more of our plans as well. Just one last note on our plan. We have some great news that we want to share that will help to bring Exhibitions to more players. It's something that we want to align together with season 3. We have great plans on how to bring far more players into the community, and stick with us a little bit more longer. I would really want to, the next few weeks, we are probably going to announce it when it's available. We also have plans to actually bring it to more players. Just want to let you guys know about that. Can't wait to share with you guys.
I guess we can answer one last question. What's the name of the new divisions?
Hey,
we can't give you
the
answer. Yeah,
we
can't give you the answer.
We will let you guys know when the units are all being shown.
Yeah. So the answer for that question is there's no answer.
Yep.
All right. So that's it for tonight, actually, or like maybe for you guys it's afternoon. We'll catch you guys in the PvP Fest.
Later in a while.
Yes, it's in like 10 minutes.
Yep.
Alright guys, once again thank you for dropping by, and that's it from us, brought to you by Rico, Jeremy, and special guest Trent. Bye bye. You guys want to say bye?
Yep.
Bye bye, and thanks for having me.
Yeah.